Hey, what's up my Dragon Legion? How y'all been? Solo Dragoons, today, as I've been mentioning for quite some time, it's been a while since I've talked about this, but now here it is, as I mentioned time and time again, I finally got together my Narukami Vowing Saber reverse Narukami deck profile. And it's taken me quite a while, but here it is. I was able to get some stuff together, I was able to work out some things here and there, and I finally got the deck together. My Eradicator Vowing Saber reverse deck right here. Now, the deck is not really at... This is not the final build right here before anyone says anything right here. There is some things I'm going to be doing here and there after this deck profile is done. I have not yet got a chance to play this deck right here in particular. Right now, all I'm doing right here is testing out the basic mechanics of how a Narukami Saber reverse first deck normally runs right now. After this deck profile, and after I get a few games in of how this deck normally runs all as such, I'll definitely do some improvements what the deck definitely needs here or there. But for where it is right now, I'm really happy with where it is right now, and I'm very happy that obviously I was able to get the deck together. And every step by step, I'll explain what I'm doing right here. And with that being said, let's get right straight to the deck profile right now. Shall we, Dragoons? Alright. Start off with the starting Vanguard. Your obviously ideal starting Vanguard is one. I can't say his name right. Lashu, I think his name is. I apologize. Lashu, he's pretty much your ideal starting Vanguard when it comes to Narukami Eradicators. Forerunner, so when you ride on top of him, he goes to a different zone. And he has, when his unit is boosted at Narukami, if the attack is hit, count less one, put him solo. If you do, if the unit he's boosting is a hit, retire when you're grade 1 or less rear guards of your opponent. So now this is definitely a very big huge step up compared to Lizard Social Shashin, whereas the Shashin can only get rid of grade 0s, whereas this guy can get rid of grade 1s or grade 0s right here, which is definitely a very huge step up because with the way how Vanguard is right now at the moment, there is actually quite a bit of options that gives you the option to take care of stuff. Like now then you'll go against those old school decks that still plays the 8K grade 1 vanilla, so this will take them out pretty easily. Now this will get rid of those annoying certain grade 1s that are currently annoying you, those particular skills that annoy you, and you just want to get rid of them, and this guy is pretty much your answer when that happens right here. Now you may not always be able to go off with this effect right here when you're playing the reverse Saber build, but what's mostly good about him is that he's an extra Narukami that you can have Eradicator be more specific when you go off with your reverse. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain about reverse when I get the grade 3 lineup. But for right now, this is just your start Vanguard, your Legion right here, pretty self-explanatory. And for your trigger lineup, we have, of course, your 4 heals. I don't really think I really need to explain why this is important right here. And as I explained time and time again, for those who are new to this channel right here, when it comes to Vanguard, this is my favorite trigger lineup when it comes to most decks right here. My favorite trigger lineup is normally the 6 critical and 6 draw lineup right here. Now, for those who are new to this channel right here, this is normally my favorite lineup right here when it comes to most decks right here when I play my Narukamis or Kagero. Reason why I like doing this over playing the 8-4 or playing stand triggers like I've seen most people do in their videos all that such is because this keeps me in a perfect balance right here. Like the goal of my deck is to be aggressive, beat down my opponent as fast as I possibly can, but at the same time, be a little defensive and try drawing my stuff whenever I need to get to my certain stuff as fast as possible, so I can draw into my stuff that's very important to me and very agile to me and all that such. The only decks that you'll ever see me play the 8-4 is the Blood Narukami's and maybe the Purge Kagero and maybe the Brawlers, depending on what they do once they become a thing. Other than that, this is what you will mostly see on this channel right here, the 6-6 right here. This is my favorite lineup right here. Gives me a perfectly good balance of offense and defense right here. Helps me get my stuff faster while still being able to land in that damage to my opponent as fast as I possibly can. So this is what I like right here, the 6-6 right here. Yeah, this is just my preference right here. If you want to do anything else different, that's your opinion. That's fine with me. And yeah, and that's it for the grade 1 trigger lineup. For the grade 1 lineup, we have, of course, the 4 perfect guards. I don't think I really need to explain why this is important right here. Next, we have 4 copies of Steel Blood Eradicator Shaki. Now, he's just mostly there for that occasion where you only use Vowing Saber Dragon's effect only once, and when he does, he becomes pretty huge right off the back, and he just becomes an ideal, very powerful booster when you get your stuff rolling pretty fast, and he just helps you get in there with a lot of power as such. And by playing 4 and still still less than 4. You can actually get away with some few screw-ups with here and there, and you can get away with the early ride and using him up, and still preserve your more important guys, and all that crazy good such. If you ride into him, it's at the end of the world, even though you do prefer him as being your rear guard as such. But by playing full, you do run into him whenever you want to run into him the most. And next we play 2 copies of Deadly Eradicator Ryo. Again, I apologize for the name wrong. Now this guy right here is a pretty good guy right here. His ability is when you ride a Eradicator Grade 3, I think it is. Yes, Grade 3 Eradicator. When Grade 3 Eradicator Narukami is placed in Vanguard Circle, you can just use his effect to just put him to your Vanguard, and you can automatically retire a front row unit, I think it is. Choose one of your, oh, it's your choice actually. Yeah, you choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards, and this combos out with Bowing Sword Dragon very well. Because when you do your cross break ride or just break ride, depending, you can just use his effect and your Bowing Sword break ride skill, and immediately you'll kill 2 cards right out of the bag with a pretty much classic shot saying of 2 birds with 1 shot, all that crazy good such. And it just makes your job a lot easier when you try to retire your stuff right here. And next, all I'm playing for the rest of Grade 1 ones is just 2 Demolition Dragons, just for a backup of booster, all that crazy good such. And of course, part of my ideal Vanguard booster is Eradicator Fire. 2 copies of Eradicator Fire. This guy is pretty much your basic power booster for your Vanguard or whatever such. This guy just gives your Vanguard like so much power right there. Bowing Sword Dragon just gets like, or Saber Dragon just gets like 10,000 power out of this guy alone, as long as your opponent has 3 or more damage, which is like very fantastic right here. Makes your Vanguard a little bit more stronger, so you can just lay in your attacks a lot easier, all that crazy good such. And that is all I'm really playing for the Grade 1 lineup. Nothing really too spectacular great right now at the moment. And now for the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2 lineup, we're playing max copies of Spark Rain Dragon, just your typical 12k booster for most subclaim decks these days. Why not? And next is, where is he? I thought I had him. Did I? Sorry, something happened. I think one of my cards got. There it is. Sorry, he got stuck with one of the cards somehow. There we go. Next, I'm playing 3 copies of Homing Eradicator Rashunhi. Now, this guy is like a very great backup buddy with a very great buddy with your Bowing Saber Dragon. For those of you that know, his ability is whenever one of your opponent's rear guards is retired by one of your effects during your turn, he gains 5,000 power until end of turn right here. So, when you retire hugely by using the effect of Bowing Saber Dragon, if you go all with Bowing Saber Dragon's effect twice, while of course performing your cross break ride with Bowing Sword Dragon, you retire 5 rear guards right out of the bag, and this guy becomes a beastly 3,300 right out of nowhere. But even if you don't go all out with Bowing Saber Dragon, if you can at least retire 3 rear guards or so, this guy already by himself becomes pretty massive pretty well. So rarely he'll need a unit to boost him up, as long as you get the right guys going off with your effects and such. And when you go ham with your effects, this guy just becomes pretty mean and beefy and hard to deal with every now and then. Especially when you tap your Bowing Saber Dragon first, and if you get like something like a critical trigger, you give him the power boost of critical to him. He just gets in there with so much power, so much damage, and your opponent will just all day long won't have too many options to guard off your attacks, all that crazy good stuff. And then everything else for Grade 2s, it's just pretty standard Narukami stuff. 2 copies of Chauho and 2 copies of Seton. Seton, your guy, when attacking his Vanguard, attacks a Vanguard's hit, put a card face down, face up, as long as you soul charge. And this guy, put a rear guard Eradicator, and you soul your Vanguard, and you retire front row guy. Nothing too special. Just good guys to help you get your stuff rolling, all that crazy good stuff all day long. And that is it for the Grade 2 lineup. Now finally for the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3 lineup, we have 4 copies of your Bowing Sword Dragon. Your ideal guy you want to do your cross break ride with, of course, with Bowing Saber Dragon. For those who don't remember Bowing Sword Dragon, because like a lot of people haven't been touching Bowing Sword Dragon ever since, what's his name? Yeah, ever since Ignition Dragon became a thing. But what he does is Limit Break 4, when a Narukami unit rides on top of this unit, that unit gets plus 10,000 power, and you retire 1 front row unit of your choice right here. Now this is very good right here because even if you don't, like if you can't perform your cross break ride, it's not the end of the world. The deck is still your Violent Saber Dragon can still do some cute, huge, crazy things without your Violent Sword Dragon. But when you do perform your Cross Break Ride or just your Break Ride, this guy just gets in there with so much great things. Like the ability of giving your Vanguard 10,000 power and the ability to retire one of your opponent's front row guys for free. It's very versatile, very useful right here. And even if you don't ride Violent Saber Dragon, type of Violent Sword Dragon, as long as you can at least ride a Violent Sword Dragon, type of another Violent Sword Dragon, you're still going to get a 21 or 23 beater that's still got to run some stuff over. Also, before I forget, he also has the ability of when his unit attacks, if the number of cards in your opponent's damage zone is 3 or more, this unit gets plus 2 as in power to the end of turn. So this guy could become 20. So as long as you do a break ride with one on top of the other, this guy is still swinging your opponent's Vanguard with 21, 23 power, which is still a pretty massive deal with every now and then. So Violent Sword Dragon is not the most useful break ride card, but it's definitely a very useful card nonetheless, with or without Violent Saber Dragon. And speaking of which, to end the deck profile right here, of course, your ideal game-winning boss card is, of course, 4 copies of Violent Saber Dragon. Now, for those who do not know who Violent Saber Dragon is, Radicare Violent Saber Dragon in reverse is, he has Limit Break 4, Counterblast 2 card, and choose 2 of your rear guards with Radicare card name, and lock him. Your opponent chooses 2 of his or her rear guards and retire them, and this unit gets plus 10,000 power till end of turn. The lock cards are turned face down and cannot do anything, and turns face up at the end of the owner's turn. If you have a card named Radicare Violent Sword Dragon in this card, so this unit gets plus 10,000 to the power, and it has lower. Now, for those who do not know what lock is when a card you control or a card your opponent controls rear guard, be more specific, is turned from face up to face down right here. Now what it means is when a card is locked, it means the card cannot boost, it cannot do anything, nothing. Once a rear guard is locked, it does not do anything until it goes back face up, and it does not go face up until the end of the owner's turn right here. So what you're doing with this guy right here is, in order to dedicate his ability really well, you're going to need a good portion of Eradicators on the board, which is why I was talking about why Chow Hao can be pretty good with this deck right here in particular, because it gives you more Eradicator options to lock with this effect right here. Now what you do with here is, now do not worry, the Vanguard does not get locked, only the rear guards get locked. However, there is going to be a new mechanic called Delete, which I'll talk to in future videos someday in the future. Anywho, now what the goal of this deck right here is get a good portion of Eradicators on the board, so you can have to be able to go off his ability, Calmash 2, lock 2 of your own guys, and then you kill 2 of your opponent's own rear guards, and then this guy just becomes massive, and you just swinging at your opponent with just huge amount of power and such, and just force your opponent out with all their resources until the point where by the time they get a low amount of cards or such, when you swing at your opponent, they won't have too many to block with your stuff, and of course you go for a game all that crazy stuff. Now, again, if you don't get the Cross Break Ride, it's not the end of the world, but when you do get so without the Violent Sword Dragon, it still can get in there very well, but when you come along with the Cross Break Ride with Violent Sword Dragon, with Violent Saber Dragon reverse, this guy just gets in there with a huge amount of power. He goes in there with, like, even if you only go all with Cross Break Ride and his ability only once, this guy is still going to be charging your opponent with 3,300 power. Plus, if you have, as I was talking about earlier, Roshin on your rear guard, this guy becomes at least 2,300. Plus, this guy becoming 3,300, and you just swing at your opponent with so much huge power and so much huge devastation to your opponent right off the bat. And by then, your opponent won't have too many cards to block against your attacks, all that crazy good stuff. And that's pretty much what Violent Saber Dragon is all about. Just getting there with so much power and just stopping your opponent with their plays all day long. And yeah, so that right there, Dragoons, was my Eradicator Violent Saber reverse deck profile. I'm very glad that I was able to get the deck together. A few things I'm definitely going to do with the deck in particular. I might put in Descendant in the deck right here. The only reason I don't have Descendant in the deck right here is because, again, right now I'm just trying out Saber reverse for a bit and see how well it does with or without Descendant. I definitely do plan on putting this in Descendant, and there may be some other things I'll do with the deck. I don't know else yet right now. Also, other things I definitely do plan on doing in the near future. I definitely have most of the cards I need for the Tempest Bolt Eradicator deck. All I'm missing is 3 more of him, and I'll have the Tempest Bolt deck together. And I'll show off a deck profile of my Tempest Bolt decks. So So that's something good to look for at the same time. And also, I just ordered a good portion of Kagero Steel Dragon. So within a week or two after this video, I should have finally a Steel Dragon Kagero deck profile for you Dragoons to check out. And for this deck right here, I just ordered 2 more Dauntless Dominant Dragons. So all I'm missing is 2 more Dauntless Drive Dragons, and I could potentially have a Dauntless Kagero deck for you Dragon to check out. Other Kagero decks that I've been meaning to do for quite some time. I'm very happy to do. One other Kagero deck I definitely do plan on doing, well, 2 more to be specific, is of course the Novell deck that's been topping everywhere for quite some time, and the new Purge deck once Legion becomes a thing. Oh my god, once Legion becomes a thing, this is going to be like really ridiculous. The same thing's going to be same thing with the Brawlers as well too. The Brawler Narukamis and the Purge Kageros are going to look, oh my god, very fantastic. So, very glad to get some stuff going. And oh, one more thing before I end this video right here. I have a channel that I share with my buddy named Zeldin. We have a channel called, the Trading Card Bros. Bros, please check out that channel right here. Within a week or 2 after this video is uploaded and such, I'll do a video of my Dauntless Doe Kagero deck profile. All of this is just like what I recently did, only except it has 1 more Dauntless now, and that's about it really. And then I'm also going to do a video of my Buddy Fight deck for those who like Buddy Fight. And I'll do a deck update of my Jackknife Dragon's World deck profile for those who want to check that deck out. And thank you again for those who check out that channel. It really means a lot to me, and definitely means a lot to my buddy Zeldin as well. And with that being said, let me know what you Dragoons think about this deck profile in the comment section down below. And I'll see you Dragoons around. Hope you Dragoons enjoy this video. Please leave a like and a favorite if you did. It really helps out a lot of it. And subscribe today to become part of the Dragon Legion Alliance. And I'll see you Dragoons another day. Christian Dragoon, signing out. Peace.